Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, where is that coming from? Oh, there we go. Got it. Alrighty then. That takes care of that. Oh, they're sending me another one of those. Okay. All right, let's see who's here first. Lydia Washington, thank you so much for being here first. Oh, and by the way, you guys, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Okay. Let me get my slides up and we're good. I had some dreams, they were clouds in my coffee, and you're so vain. I bet you think this song is about you. Okay. To see the total eclipse of the sun, then you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia. Oh no, that was wrong, isn't it? And your heart's already won. Then you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. Well, you're where you should be all the time. And when you're not, you're with some underworld spy or the wife of a close friend, and you're so vain. Okay. Um, we're good. I love that song. Matter of fact, gosh, what is her name? And I love her music. It's not Carole King. It's not Olivia Newton-John. It's hmm. Oh gosh, what is her name? Who sings "You're So Vain"? Carly Simon. That's it, Carly Simon. I love me some Carly Simon. God, she's 82 years old now. Still looks good though. Yeah, she looks amazing for 82. See, that's how it is when you do something you love. I love her music. I just love it, love it, love it. Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Hey, okay. I wasn't looking, but somehow you found me. And I tried to hide from your love. Okay, are we ready? Royalty. It seemed like it's any, well, actually, it seemed as good as any other title. So I'm just going to call it Royalty for now. That is the working name. The Sussexes, I hope they have a surprise for us because, all right, so Harry went to, where did he go? To Angola. Surely there will be something this week. I'm hoping. I would love to see the two of them out and about. And no mention of when they're going to reschedule Meghan's night that she's supposed to be honored. They were supposed to do that at the whatever that place was. And we just haven't heard anything else about it. Have you guys heard anything about a reschedule? Because I have not. But there's some gala or something like that. Well, anyway, I ain't forgot. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully we'll get something about that soon. But I want to see the Sussexes out and about this week. Well, I mean, Meghan's birthday is coming up, so maybe they're just going to lay low until her birthday. Gosh, I hope we don't have to wait that long. That's what, almost 2 weeks from now, right? About 2 weeks. It's the 4th of August. I don't want to wait that long. We need something a little sooner. A farmer's market run, anything. I'll take it. A talk show. Something. Oh, we have a birthday? Oh, let's see here. Reba Henderson, happy birthday. Oh, well, we better do a salsa before we get into it. Let me get that queued up. And thank you, Lydia Washington, for the... oh, my, that's hitting over there, isn't it? There we go. For the super chat. All right, let's queue up a salsa. And then we will... Oh, no, that's not it. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, here we go. Salsa. All right. Happy birthday, Reba Henderson. All right. Happy birthday. Okay. Take that away. Well, you guys, I did try it. I opened it up. I let it breathe. Of course, I chilled it first. Then I got my most beautiful glass out, one of them. And I'll let you know what I think in a minute. Anyway, as ever, Rosé, 2023 blend. And it is a Napa Valley wine. There we go. Here's a couple of images from Meghan's. Oh, I forgot to post my image. I'm going to have to do that later. Hopefully she'll put it with the other ones. But let's see here. Okay, the Meghan Sussex Rosé is the perfect rosé, not served. No, I'm sorry, not sweet, not too dry, perfectly crisp. That's what it says in the black box there. And then over here on the right, it says Divine, going to enjoy pairing this one. Okay, and just so you guys know, you don't have to drink it all at one time. You could always put the cork back in it and save it, which is what I'm doing. Okay. And there it is. That's me on the left side. That is, I don't know where I got that glass from. I bet you I got it from a thrift store. But anyway, you can barely see it, but it has kind of a rose kind of shape to it, like a rose bulb. And anyway, I decided to get out the nice long stem glass for my as ever. And I would describe it very much the same way. I could definitely taste like nectarine, kind of pear taste, but not so strong, not so strong. But it was just very subtle, not too sweet, and definitely the 14.5% alcohol gives you a little, you can just kind of feel it back there. You know what I mean? So I don't generally eat spicy food, but I wonder how this pairs with spicy food. I kept it very simple. I just had some cheese and crackers. As you can see, I didn't pour a whole lot. That's about no, that's actually, that was the one pouring I had. So I am going to slowly um, tuck into that one over time. So I think in a month I may still be working on it a bit, but as you know, I haven't had any like alcoholic beverage for like 4 years. So I'm pacing myself. I am pacing myself. But if it goes faster than I expected, I always have another bottle ready. So yeah, so there's that to think about. And but yeah, it was and the bouquet. I mean, of course, I had to just kind of stick my nose down in there and get a good whiff of it, almost like perfume. But yeah, so I would highly recommend, especially if you like rosé. I usually like something red and very sweet, but again, this one is perfect for pairing with fish, of course, or something light, a good Caesar salad, those kind of things. Yeah. So hopefully more people will have an opportunity to try the rosé in the future. I got my fingers crossed because I mean there's like a whole sector of consumers out there, and unfortunately, scaling up and maintaining quality doesn't always go hand in hand. So hopefully they can find a way to do that so that more people will have the opportunity to buy it. Okay, I hope so. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for everyone. And a little rosé by the sea, some as ever rosé by the sea. Um, yeah, that's the way I picture it. By the sea, by the pool, with friends, summer, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That is what you need for the summer. Okay. Let me see who else is here. Hi, Sonia Johnson. Okay. And who else is here? Fancy. Joya Moore. Mary H. Sandra. Jacqueline Rippey. Rhonda McKnight. Okay. Compton Cali Gal. Blair McKenzie. Ingrid Soers, thank you all so much. CK is here. Thomas V Thomas rather. Yvonne Clark, it seemed like it's been a while. What's that? I've never had an alcoholic drink. I tell myself I should try like I did my first drink of coffee on June the 21st last year. That was your first time having coffee? My goodness, how many days were you awake? I'm afraid of getting sick. Yeah, that's understandable. Um, but yeah, I've never been much of a big drinker. And I remember some years ago, um, I had a friend that was buying, and since he was buying, I was drinking. And isn't that something? As long as someone else is buying, then I'm just like, well, I could have one. Um, but yeah, yeah, well, that's something to think about. I would just say, if and when that occasion comes up, always pace yourself. Just remember to Like you saw what I had, right? You know what I'm saying? I think for a first timer, that's plenty. That is plenty. You you don't have to impress people. That is plenty first go around. Okay. But anyway, thanks for sharing that with me. Now I don't feel so weird that it's been years since I've had anything. Oh, do you? All right, Sandra. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I've always liked that name, Sandra. Okay, as ever, I tell you, it must be heaven to have a backyard like that, to have a garden, a park surrounding your home. As ever. Um, but you know what I really love about it is that they actually use it. They spend a lot of time in their garden. I am so glad they have it. I'm glad they're enjoying it. They are enjoying it the way they are. And also considering that, they were looking forward to having the the children and Frogmore and all of that going for them. And then of course, viciously, Frogmore was taken away. Um, I guess Charles knew what he was doing. Take away the Frogmore, and I won't ever have them over there. So yeah, when they're belly aching about the kids not seeing their grandfather, we must remember that Charles took away Frogmore. He evicted the family from Frogmore, trying to impress that toadstool that he's married to, trying to impress that old worn out lady's handbag called Camilla. That 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 run over billfold. Yeah, he was trying to impress her, so he's like, "Oh, Camilla, I'll just throw them out of Frogmore. Does that turn you on, Camilla? Does that turn you on? What if I threw them out of Frogmore?" And then they just look at each other and grin. Yuck. Yuck. Well, well, well. Look who's on vacation again. On vacation again. How many vacations are there for one family? Well, when you are a billionaire, um, accused of being a slumlord, of course, a billionaire, when you have a $1 billion duchy, I guess there is no limit to how often one can go on vacation. They literally just came back from a vacation, worked for about the equivalent of a week, and then they took off again. They just took off again. Let's see. Prince George is seen larking around with his siblings, Prince Louis and Princess Charlotte, in adorable behind the scene footage released to mark his 12th birthday. You know what? God bless him. And I hope you have many more birthdays to come. I mean, like a century of birthdays, I hope he has. Um, I just wonder what kind of monarchy it's going to be for the next 90 something years of birthdays for him. Right now, it's not looking so good. But then again, they never had it so good. Anybody who can just take off and take a vacation, public servants on the public dole, if they can take off and go on vacation with a straight face without any regards to what people think, and then on top of that, it's the way they're vacationing. I mean, they are literally on a super yacht. You see that thing? I want you to look at the top there. And I count 10 exhaust pipes. Is that 10? I think that's 10 exhaust pipes. There is a huge diesel engine. There's a huge diesel engine that powers that thing. A diesel engine. And it is, I mean, look at how dark those chrome exhaust pipes are. That gives you an idea of the kind of filth which is belching out of that thing. The environmental king, or future king, the environmental future king, is floating around the Mediterranean on a super yacht, an unnecessary super yacht. Now, let me tell you something. If you are not a multi billionaire, not good enough to be a billionaire, you really need to be a multi billionaire. And I mean, some crazy money. Those things are like a big money pit. This is why they decided to get rid of the Britannia, because the upkeep on something like that is extraordinary. Seriously extraordinary. A yacht like that will cost you about $500 million, and it costs you millions of dollars a month just to keep the thing afloat. Yeah, it costs you millions of dollars a month, which is why they usually lease those things out whenever they have the opportunity. Now, whether or not the Welleses are paying for it, that we don't know. I wonder how they expect that they were going to just go and take a vacation on a super yacht and there would be nothing said about it. No one would know, as far as they guess. They have skedaddled out of town quite a few times, and no one was the wiser because, let's face it, the tabloid media, they're going to hold their secrets for them. They will keep their secrets. But I don't have to tell you, I'm trying not to repeat over and over again that if it were Harry and Meghan, but let me just say, if that were Harry and Meghan, we would have never heard the end of it. We would have never heard the end of it. They would have gone on about that for the longest. They would have had experts. They would have called them hypocrites. But you get none of that for Willie Leaks. This is the man who just, what about it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago? This is the man who told the Jeff Bezos and what's his name, Elon Musk, and I guess he was talking to Sir Richard Branson about this idea of going into space, that the money would be better spent here or something like that. I don't know what his point was. But then he skips town and goes and spend the summer on a super yacht. While so many people back in Britain are struggling, it's just not a good look. I mean, people are forced to give up necessities. And William and Kate have decided to go and spend the summer on a super yacht. Now take a look there. The Welleses are lounging off Kefalonia on, what is that, Opera? A super yacht owned by Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed, a member of the Abu Dhabi's ruling autocratic family. At this point, the crown no longer serves Britain, just whoever funds the royals' luxury lives. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure this is a nice guy. I have no quarrel with him. But the idea of it, that while so many people are struggling, the Welleses are kind of in your face with it. They are really in your face with it. They're not on the Britannia going about doing any diplomacy. They're not acting for diplomatic reasons. They are just lounging about in the sun as though there's nothing else going on in this world. Okay, let me play a little sound bite from our friend Martin of Ministry of Hacks.
Morning, friends. Happy Tuesday. How are you doing? An absolutely tiny headline covering up a massive story because Kate and William are on holiday again with the children, apparently off the coast of Kef.
Oh, what happened, Martin?
Morning, friends. Happy Tuesday. How are you doing? An absolutely tiny headline covering up a massive story because Kate and William are on holiday again with the children, apparently off the coast of Kefalonia on a massive private yacht. And there's so many dimensions to this story, but let's start with the obvious one. Is this the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th holiday they've had this year? I make it the 8th. It's not even August. They've got a pretty good lifestyle, haven't they? But also the absolute hypocrisy from William with his Earthshot prize. It's just incredible. Private jet down there, private luxury yacht. One of these beasts actually emits 80,000 times more carbon than an average person would emit in their lifetime. 80,000 times more. The hypocrisy is just off the scale. I think the third thing and the final thing is none of the UK media have covered this at all. They obviously all know about it, but there's been absolutely no UK press coverage. What does that tell you? The press are in the pocket of Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace. The press set the tone and set the beliefs, set the story, set the theme of what people are expected to believe about Kate and William. And by deliberately ignoring newsworthy items, the press are complicit in misdirection. Comments are open as ever. Let me know what you think.
I think they probably put a couple of the courtiers, a couple of the bearded people are in the princess suite. Yes, they probably put a couple of those bearded people in a princess suite. And don't forget, they're taking their royal protection officers so that they can enjoy the sun. Well, I tell you, it's like having your Admiral Hall at sea. Nice work if you're born into it. So, of course, Feminegra had a thing to say about this. Feminegra says the double standards are glaring. Meghan Sussex once wore earrings from the royal collection during a 2018 state dinner in Fiji. These earrings, originally gifted to Queen Elizabeth II by the Saudi royal family, were on loan to Meghan as part of standard royal practice. But British media implied Meghan bore moral complicity, that is, in the unaliving of a journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, because they believe the earrings came from the Saudi crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. She faced a coordinated smear campaign just days before the Oprah interview aired. Isn't that something? Fast forward to 2025, Prince William and Princess Kate were reportedly vacationing on the super yacht Opera, which is widely believed to be owned by Sheikh Abdul bin Zayed, the UAE's foreign minister and a key figure in a regime with a record of human rights violations. There is no outcry, no tabloid rage, and no panel of commentators asking whether Kate Middleton condones state brutality. The hypocrisy speaks volumes. What's that? Yeah, it was a setup. It was a setup. I believe they had a bunch of things like that that they probably would just pick and choose as possible ways to target the Duchess of Sussex. You know, depending on what suits them that day. whatever tickles their fancy. It's a nasty bit of business, but that is how the palace works. You know, anything that functions like that, anything that is capable of that type of hatred and hostility, as far as I'm concerned, does not deserve to exist. Not my king. The media smeared Meghan over jewelry she did not own. In 2021, the Times and the Telegraph published pieces accusing Meghan of wearing earrings allegedly gifted by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. These stories emerged shortly before the Oprah interview with Prince Harry. Though the earrings were part of the Queen's collection um, and loaned to Meghan for official events, the media used the timing to cast her as indifferent to human rights abuses. A report revealed Meghan, oh, I'm sorry, not that one right there, but here. A Sussex spokesperson formally rebutted the claim, clarifying that Meghan did not personally receive the earrings. The media ignored that fact. British commentators such as Andrew Neil, um, Mail columnist and Times radio anchor Chris Shipp with a P, not a T, ITV News editor Andrew Pierce, and Daily Mail consultant editor GMB News pundit Kevin Maguire, journalist and political commentator, and Piers Morgan, Good Morning Britain, host and talk TV anchor, used the jewelry controversy to reinforce a narrative that casts Meghan as calculating or indifferent to human rights concerns. I mean, look at the headlines there. She wore earrings gifted by Prince Salman after Khashoggi was unalived. But let's see, what do we have here? Oh, that just says the Waleses. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at that. Well, we'll come back to that one. We'll come back to that. What am I looking for here? Or did I pass it already? Oh, take a look there on the left side. I mean, take a look at that. 5 white men discussing how Meghan Markle killed Khashoggi with her earrings, bullied people like the Home Secretary, and has scared the living daylights out of the establishment without having said anything yet. Misogyny and racism is a toxic mix. And unfortunately, even though that person definitely has the right response, the tabloid media or the any media for that matter, they will not give a voice to anyone who has a counter narrative to what those 5 men and the non-concerned woman on the screen there. They have no platform available for someone who actually gets it right. At least not a big enough platform. Unfortunately, the airways are filled with a bunch of monarchists, right-leaning, what do you call those people? The royal rotas, the so-called royal experts. They know it's a lie. They know it's misrepresenting the reality of things, but they say it anyway. They blanket the airways with their army of collaborators, and they just keep repeating it until their lies become the truth, until they manage to gaslight anybody and everybody who's willing to believe that nonsense. You don't have to look far into the royal collection before you start seeing jewelry that has been gifted by some of the most brutal regimes on the planet. It's almost a waste of time to try to figure out, okay, now which of these are the blood diamonds? Mostly all of them. Which of these are the ones that were stolen from India and Africa? Most of them. Literally, most of them. And when it comes to gold, it was like one thief stealing from another. Didn't they condone piracy during the time of Elizabeth I? So whatever gold was stolen out of the Americas, they would just hijack those ships at sea and then bring it back to England. I mean, it's just the hypocrisy of it, considering how so many of those treasures made it into the hands of the royal family. You don't have to look back too far. Never mind who gave it to them, but consider the source and consider their source. That really, really makes me angry. So let me go back to where I was. I'll just leave it there. Queen Elizabeth and other royals, including Diana and Camilla, have worn jewels from Saudi Arabia for decades without facing similar scrutiny. This level of coordinated outrage timed just days before Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview aired on March 7th, 2021, felt particularly strategic given the gravity of what the Sussexes later revealed in that interview. Meghan detailed her mental health struggles, the institution's refusal to support her, and shocking claims about conversations concerning the skin tone of her unborn child. Harry spoke candidly about feeling trapped within the system and abandoned by his family. And you know what? One of the things that really, really gets on my nerves is that you will have someone who is a sir or a dame, or they have some kind of MBE, OBE, or whatever, and they'll say, I don't think the royal family is racist. Well, part of their brand is to appear as though they tolerate everybody. Of course, they're not going to expose that side of themselves in your face. That's what happens when you're not around. And I'm pretty sure that in some cases, they have been there to hear some of those colorful jokes from members of the royal family and didn't think much of it, just kind of laughed it off like, oh, of course they're not going to say anything. They don't want to go up against that institution. Not that they would have the backbone to do it in the first place. That institution for some people is a means to get ahead. It's no secret that having the OBE definitely helps your career. Even if you have to sell your soul for it, it will definitely boost your career. So the media's aggressive focus on earrings paired with the palace's silence on the couple's deeper concerns now appear less like journalism and more like preemptive damage control. It raised the question of whether the palace and parts of the press worked in tandem to discredit Meghan's character before the public could hear the full extent of her allegations against both institutions. William and Kate faced no questions over the UAE ties. This month, onlookers allegedly spotted William and Kate lounging on a super yacht, Opera, during their vacation in Catalonia. Sheikh Abdul bin Zayed, the foreign minister of the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, a senior figure in the authoritarian regime that jails dissidents and suppresses press freedoms, owns the vessel. That's right, he owns the vessel. There has been no widespread media commentary on their choice of holiday hosts. No one asked whether they were endorsing the UAE's action by accepting such luxurious hospitalities. The same press that claims Meghan's earrings were symbolic of Saudi violence now protect William and Kate from similar association. These omissions are not accidental. They reveal the political function of royal coverage in the UK. When Meghan challenges palace control, she became a target. When William and Kate lounge on yachts tied to controversial regimes, silence reigns. This isn't just media bias, it's complicity. The public deserves honest reporting, not weaponized outrage. Meghan was dragged for wearing earrings she did not own. At the time when the crown still enjoyed close diplomatic ties with Saudi Arabia, William and Kate now accept private hospitality from the UAE's most powerful figures and get a free press pass. The difference isn't ethics, it's whose image the British media wants to protect. Well, thank you very much, Feminagra. Again, outstanding reporting. Hello, Ivy here. Hey, Ivy, I see you there. Okay, and so let's see, what do we have here on these pages? The Welleses are lounging. Yes, they are. William and Kate charge 15 couples £32,000 each for dinner in New York. Cash for access questions as royal couple court U.S. super rich. They have been doing this stuff for years. They have been doing this for years. It has been encouraged, I'm sure. But then again, William, who fancies himself a global statesman, I bet it came pretty easy for him, almost like drawing a breath. And then, of course, the cash for access scandal with the polo. There's just a few things that we know about when it comes to William Wells, just a few things that we know about. But if we ever had accurate reporting, then all would be revealed, and maybe then the public would find out exactly who they are paying their taxes to support. If only. Right now, it seems as though they are safely ensconced into the bosom of the royal family, protected by the right wing media, and chances are they have nothing to worry about. But that doesn't mean that we should not drag them on social media. I know I certainly will. Hey, Hazel Jones, thank you for joining us. Let's see, Prince William and former Prime Minister David Cameron embroiled in World Cup bidding scandal. I almost forgot about that one. Don't forget, one of the squaddies said, don't forget Prince William role in the FIFA scandal. The apple, that being Willie, didn't fall far from the tree, Charles. The Middle East trips are paying off. Yeah, do you guys remember during the global pandemic when William flew all the way to the Middle East? I forget which one of those big officials had died. But he went all the way over to the Middle East, and then he planted a tree, and he walked around in front of the cameras and did the photo op and everything. They said that William made a trip over there with the goal of paying respects to the Saudi royal family. You couldn't have just sent a letter. You had to go all the way over there and plant a tree. I'm sure that there were more things going on than just that. That doesn't even make sense. Let's see. Bessie, is it Agan? Agan? The best revenge is Harry and Meghan do is live their best life. Thank you very much for that. And that, of course, is the sweetest revenge is living your best life. Let your enemies see you enjoying your life. And of course, the other thing that's also important is, as Meghan has done this, actually, is what she hasn't done. She doesn't mention their names. And that seems to drive them crazy that she won't mention their names. It's almost like, why won't she mention us? Especially that hoghead Piers Morgan. Oh, Piers Morgan is just like tied in knots because Meghan will not say his name. So even Dan Wooten, Harry wouldn't say Dan Wooten's name. He just referred to him as that sad little man. And let's not forget the bee, the fly, and the wasp. Oh man, those were epic nicknames, I think. Anyway, thank you very much again for the super chat. And thank you for being here. Prince William, David Cameron made cameos in the FIFA corruption report, did they? They were named in the FIFA corruption report. How about this one? British royals met tyrannical Middle East monarchies over 200 times since Arab Spring. Over 200 times since the Arab Spring. Britain's royal family has met members of autocratic Middle Eastern monarchies nearly once a fortnight since the crackdown on Arab Spring protesters began 10 years ago. This month, their visits have often coincided with human rights abuses in the Gulf, where pro-democracy activists were punished for criticizing the Windsor's ties to the regimes. Isn't that something? They have no shame. Okay, so again, as you can see, William takes these little walks. It kind of reminds me of a scene from The Godfather for some reason, or from what was that movie where the mob guys would kind of cover their mouths when they're talking? It kind of reminds me of that. I don't know why, but why do I get the feeling that one of those guys is making the other guy an offer he can't refuse? I'm just saying it looks kind of shady. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what they have in common. What do you two have in common? Is he the president of the UAE version of BAFTAs? Right? Or is he the patron for the women's football league? Oh, wait a minute. I don't think that's a thing over there, is it? So why is he there? I mean, what does he do? Oh man, I tell you, I would pay good money if I could see William dressed up in their native clothing. You know how Charles was wielding that sword that time, dressed up, looking like he was the Sheik of Windsor. I would love to see that. I would love to see Willie running around like that. I don't think it's going to happen because William tends to hate anything that looks too, costumey. I don't care, even if he doesn't even like the Order of the Garter. He doesn't like any of that stuff. He refuses to wear a kilt. So let me see. The Prince and Princess of Wales enjoyed secret Caribbean holiday during the BAFTAs. Remember that? They were supposed to go to the BAFTAs, and then without ceremony, without consideration of anything, they made an announcement. I want to say it was like, was it a day or two before the BAFTA Awards? They just canceled the BAFTAs. They didn't go. They went on holiday. That is a bold move. Breathtaking it was. They just last minute canceled the BAFTAs and went on a trip. And the thing is, they'll do it again because there are no consequences. There really aren't. They just go when they darn well feel like it. They have been doing this for years. Just like when they missed the Commonwealth ceremony because Willie got the itching to go skiing. So they went skiing. And at that time, the papers actually called him out. But now he has the magic ticket. He has the golden ticket, just like Willy Wonka. He has a golden ticket. All they have to say is that Kate was tired, or Kate needed some air, or Kate had some kind of an itch or something like that. That's all they have to say. Instead of giving her something to scratch with, they just whisk her off on vacation. What's that? You have an itch? Well, we better get our suitcases out, shouldn't we? What's that? You feel a bit dehydrated? Well, in that case, we better pack our trunks too. The only thing they have to figure out is, will they have some of those pool noodles when they get there? Bessie says, speak about Rosie and the same way Tom went. What's that? Rosie and the GN the same way. Speak about Rosie and I'm not sure what that means. I'm not. I'm not sure, but thank you for the super chat. Okay. So again, Meghan was judged by those people that you see there. A very common sight. A very common sight. It just looks very awkward that the first known royal family member, confirmed royal family member of African descent, is routinely picked apart by people that doesn't look anything like her, that has little or nothing in common with her. That is breathtaking. Now, Prince William and Harry's cousin, cause of death revealed. Family pay tribute to 20-year-old darling daughter who passed away at home with firearm nearby. It is so coincidental, isn't it? So that someone from their extended family, if you will, dies mysteriously. And I thought they said that she was packing to go on vacation or something. How does that happen? And this seems to be the second time in a little over a year that we're having this same conversation. Their cousin, not their cousin's husband this time, but their cousin. It's like Thomas Kingston all over again. And of course, they won't come out and say what happened. They just say that there was head trauma and that there was a firearm nearby. Okay, I get the meticulous detail and that you want to get it right You want to have your inquiry and all that kind of stuff. But when does these things start looking like they're not an accident or that they're not what they appear to be? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I got it. Thank you so much. But yeah, I was definitely going to get to that. But yeah, it's how do they explain this away? Because okay, I know Thomas Kingston is not a blood royal. This young lady, if she's a cousin, I'm assuming she is. But what is revolving around that family that makes them, in some cases, no different from anybody? You see, Will and Kate were willing to address the mental struggles. They were willing to address that with the heads together. Something pretty much Harry's work, and they were able to put their names on it. But Harry is the only one of the three that are still having discussions about it. I don't think the royal family routinely make themselves available to anyone who's struggling. But there is a caveat. There's a caveat. Unless you are the Princess of Wales, because they told us that the Princess of Wales had major abdominal surgery. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. But a year before, 2 years before, 4 years before surgery, it seemed as though the abdominal surgery was nowhere in sight, but struggling, mentally struggling, that appeared to be very much a thing. With all the plasters or band-aids, as we call it, all of these band-aids all over the fingers and knuckles and everything, without any reasonable explanation. The severe weight loss, that has been a thing for a long time. And the royal reporters, they say nothing. The derangers, oh, look at how perfect Kate is. She's given birth to 3 children and she's back to her normal weight. If it were normal, and I'm not saying it's not, I'm just saying if that were normal, the Kate that married into the family was almost chubby in comparison. It just seems like there's something going on with those people. Like there's some unreasonable expectations. And we know there are. And Harry has sounded the alarm to the public. Harry has spoken out about it in so many words, in direct words. He's all but said that there are quite a few people in my family that are in trouble. And if this young lady had things going on, again, imagine what the person with all the plasters are going through. And isn't it a shame that the people that pretty much come together to defend Meghan have also raised questions about someone who seems hell-bent on harming Meghan, trying to steal her identity. It seems like such a disservice for the press, for the media, to push this idea that Harry doesn't know what he's missing. No, actually, that Harry is homesick and he's missing uh, being in the royal family, right? That he would rather be back in England. Do I have to pull out the church picture? Do we have to go to church? Because I will. I will do it. I always say I don't like to share this photo because it's heartbreaking. But I think it makes the point. And I'm going to go and get it. Okay. Let me see. Where is it? I haven't shared that one in a while, but I will. Let me see here. Okay. Try that one more time. Okay, I haven't shared it for a while, but I know I still have it. Let me see here. Oh, there it is right there. There it is right there. That one always breaks my heart. As much as Harry would rather be any place else. Looks like let me see. Mike Tyndall is asleep. Harry is dreaming of the day when he doesn't have to be a part of this farce any longer. That one always breaks my heart. And I know it's just a split second in time, but I can't help but think that Harry is dreaming of the day when he would have a wife of his own. At least it would be more bearable if he could find someone who would dare risk their sanity marrying into that family. That's what gets me about it, is that the press knows how toxic that family is. And yet they have convinced the world that Harry has walked away from something amazing. He's walked away from privilege. He's walked away from his duty instead of walking toward his future happiness. But every time I see this picture, it just goes right through me. And look at the Kents back there. The Kents are back there trying to figure out whose pocket they're going to reach into. One if one hoping somebody would drop a couple of pounds on the floor. You see him back there? Tsar Michael the second, or whatever he is. Tsar Michael and Tsarina Princess Maria, also known as Princess Michael of Kent. Oh, well, thank you, Lord, for getting him out of there. Thomas Kingston's funeral devastated Prince William, leads mourners as financier laid to rest. Prince William attends funeral of Lady Gabriella Kingston's late husband, Thomas Kingston, with Prince and Princess Michael of Kent, the Duke of Kent, and Princess Alexandra also present. So he made it to that one. He did not, and you guys, look at his face there. Remember how bad he was looking at that time? Remember that? He doesn't even seem like he's all together there. Thomas Kingston died at parents' £3 million home, as police say his death was not suspicious. Right, it wasn't. Oh, isn't that something? There it is. Will's no-show mystery. William pulls out of royal engagement for personal reasons. Prince makes last-minute decision not to attend Godfather's memorial service with cancer-stricken king as absent as as Palace gives update on Kate's and insists she's doing well. So remember, they swore up and down that his absence at King Constantine's memorial service had nothing to do with Kate. Also, you should know that a year prior to that, they had a funeral for King Constantine, and William wasn't available for that either. He just did not go. How embarrassing that your godfather's funeral is taking place and you decide that you're not going. And they have to send Afro Annie in your place. That's 2 times that he snubbed his godfather, King Constantine of Greece. I'm telling you, William shows up when he chooses to. His pattern of behavior is more identified with someone who's struggling with a chemical dependency. It really does. I don't know what chemical. I don't know that it's true at all. But I'm going to allege that that pattern of behavior, where you just pull out of stuff at the last minute, just seems like chemical dependency. And then this bizarre thing where 4 well-known Royal Rota people tell us something that nobody was thinking about until they mentioned it. They tell us that William did not pull out of that memorial service because of anything to do with Thomas Kingston. They just told us that. Nobody said anything. And you know that it's a massive cleanup effort if Rebecca English is tweeting about it. They always like to get her out in front of things. I smell a rat. Now, there's this. I know we've had this discussion multiple times, and there are some of you that if we never spoke about this again, it'd be too soon. But yet here we are. Sussex Soldier. The Sussex Soldier says, copycat. When I saw the cancer video of Copycat Kate last year, it reminded me of a video I had seen of Meghan sitting on a bench in her garden. I couldn't find the video because I couldn't remember what it was about. Anyway, today, without searching for it, it came to me. And you have to admit, it's almost like a carbon copy. Now, I know it's kind of difficult to see it, but let me help you out. Meghan, Kate. Meghan, Kate. Meghan being Meghan, Kate being Meghan. It is the absolute same setup. You'd almost forget about it because that was in the days of the global pandemic when Meghan sat there on the bench, very pregnant at the time. She couldn't join Harry at the Vax Live, so she recorded something in the garden. But it's exactly the same. And if you have watched the two videos, as I have, and thanks to the Sussex Soldier, I watched them back to back. The only difference is you could clearly hear Meghan's very audible voice. Kate, I kid you not, it was a little bit of a struggle. It was very choppy and clippy. You know, the usual Kate. But otherwise, a carbon copy. A carbon copy. Although, for some reason, I still feel like this was AI. I really feel like this was an AI video. But whether it was AI or not, the greater point is the concept of it was very identical. Yeah, and that's what is so unhinged about it is that it is trolling. It is trolling, and it's reminding someone that I can get very close to you if I choose to. That I could be very close to you by pretending, by mimicking your every move. The only thing that she hasn't mastered is speech. She hasn't managed to master speech. If Kate could ever, you know, convey her thoughts clearly, then of course she would have done the full circle. That's not likely to ever happen. Unfortunately, Kate is going to have a lifetime of subtitles. Kate will have a lifetime of subtitles. It doesn't bother her none. She doesn't care. She doesn't have to speak. The hard part is over. She's had 3 children, and the rest of it, she just coasts her way into history. That's it. She's had the 3 children, and the rest of it is just coasting your way into history. Nothing is really expected of her. If it wasn't for Meghan, she would have been able to discreetly melt into the wallpaper, right? You wouldn't even know she was there, and she'd be satisfied with that. But because of Meghan, she's had to step it up. But I tell you, looking at something like this, if it doesn't put a bad taste in your mouth, I don't know what would. I don't know what gets to you if this doesn't. Lex says, what's nefarious is the Royal Rota saying Meghan is inauthentic. Amen to that. Exactly. The projection that they use, the mental gymnastics that they attempt every time they try to convince people that Meghan is the one who's not the authentic one. Kate is very authentic. Yes, of course, everybody has a film crew that follows them to the baby bank. Everyone has a film crew that follows them to the food bank, right? Everybody has a film crew that follows them into a wheat field or a beach or jumping over bales of hay. Isn't that everybody's story? Everybody was late for the coronation because everyone going to the coronation that day, regardless of how insignificant their role, everyone had to stop and make a family video with a film crew before they could go to the coronation. So essentially, everyone in Westminster Abbey made Charles III late for the coronation. They had Charles III sitting out in the Golden State carriage while he waited for, what was it, 2,000 people present to enter the Abbey? Or was it just Will and Kate? Being authentic, of course. And you know what's like aging really bad, even though they're still somewhat new? Every video that they make has the slow motion and the strumming music in it. Every video that they upload does that. Okay, no, I take that back because some of them will have some kind of little hip background music to make it seem like they're young and interesting. But otherwise, it's usually a bunch of guitar music, um, you know, a little bit synthesized something, and they're moving in slow motion. They're smiling in slow motion. They're waving in slow motion. And if it's the kids in the video, they're laughing. You got to get the kids laughing. Now, I almost downloaded a slide that I was going to share with you, and I decided not to because, well, sometimes people have to sleep when they're done with Royal Sussex, and I have to be more conscious of how often I share images of the Queen Consort. Um, but it was Charles and Camilla at what I believe was basically a horse breeding place, talking horses, looking at horses, talking to people about horses. Camilla thinking somebody was holding up a mirror and all that kind of stuff. And those are the little things that members of the royal family are expected to do. That is not a Will and Kate thing. Will and Kate has already made it known that they're not ever going to do that. They are going to do things that they say have a high impact. In other words, if it's something where we can take our film crew, if it's something that make us look loved and looks very slick, then that we will share. That we will do. But going to any of those like little country festivals and such, they're not going to do that. If it's something rural and what they deem unnecessary, they're not going to do it. That was Philip and Lizzie. That's Charles and, you know, Princess Alexandra and um, Princess Anne. But do not expect the Welleses to do that. They are going to be very, very conscious about what they share, or should I say, what they do. But going to cut a ribbon I mean, when was the last time you saw Will and Kate unveil a plaque? When was the last time you saw them unveil a plaque? I'm trying to think. The last time they unveiled a placard anywhere. Okay, so Kate did the christening of that ship. I can't think of anything. I cannot think of anything. I know I saw Sophie unveil something a little while ago. Charles and Camilla, they unveiled their portraits at the National Portrait Gallery. But pretty much, I don't think they're going to do it. I think that is something that they probably hate to do, and they're not going to make an exception just because someone asked them to do it. They're not going to do it. These are the people that didn't even go to BAFTA. If they're not going to BAFTA, what makes you think that they would unveil the opening of a supermarket? They're not going to do that. They're too good for that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have not seen Suits. I have not. I'm just a bit overwhelmed because if I watch one, I'm going to want to watch them all. And if I do that, oh, you guys, I might, yeah, I'd get stuck. I'd get stuck. I have to train myself to pace myself to get through it. Let's see here. What's that? William would be better served spending his time trying to figure out why his poor is meat in the back of his neck all of a sudden. Rendering him the image of a Star Wars reject character. I love that. Okay, well, let me see here. Okay, so there, Ozzy Osbourne has gone to his glory, and I'm not going to play the video here. I'm not even going to play the sound, but Sharon Osbourne was on this rant about the Sussexes and their PDA. You know, she's like, and they're always holding hands, you know, all that kind of stuff. And they're holding hands and they're all over each other. And Ozzy said, but also in love, which I thought was very sweet. I thought that was very sweet. Now, the audio is not great because Piers Morgan was trying to ask a question. It sounded like he said also in love, but it also kind of sounded like, but they are in love. But whatever he said, he meant that as a defense of the Sussexes. And clearly they heard it because when they played this on one of those Australian news channels, the lady was like, oh, didn't they have a dump bucket? And of course, the dump bucket, that's when you have that delay and you can take the audio out before people hear it. And yeah, she was like, If only they had a dump bucket, button rather. So I am more than certain that whatever Ozzy said was in defense of the Sussexes. And you can look at that photo right there. I mean, look at Sharon. Look at those two kids, the way they're looking at Ozzy Osbourne, like he just beamed down from the mothership. They're looking at him like he's done something terribly wrong, because they are trying to get people to pay attention to them. That little podcast or YouTube show, whatever they were doing, they were, every time they had a chance to criticize the Sussexes, they couldn't wait to do it. And right now, I'm thinking about the girl, the one with the purple hair, because she very publicly said that Harry's not the only person who lost a parent. Remember that? In other words, he should get over it. Now, that was coming from a very entitled young lady who at the time had both her parents. Interesting, right? Wonder where she is right now. Not physically where she is, but mentally, where is she at right now? Okay, I'm going to close with this, you guys. This is the last thing I have. I thought this was so sweet. Talk about the power of prayer. The little boy is at the war memorial. As you can see, it says 1941 to 1945. This is in Russia. This is Russia. And the little boy, absolutely adorable. You see him there with his hands together praying. And then he goes over the tin to the flowers. Oh my goodness, I just love this kid. And of course, it would have been more than enough just to see this little kid do that. But it's what he does next that really shocked me. He put the damn fire out. That little asshole threw the that little asshole threw the water on top of the internal flame and put it out. He put the eternal flame out. Could you believe it? Whose kid is that? He enters the park praying, and then next thing you know, he goes over and grabs one of the flower buckets. And I want you to see that. He pours one into the other. Well, actually, he's pouring a little water off in case it's too much. And then he just hauls off and throws the water on top of the flame. Now, see, it should have been somebody standing right there with a house shoe in their hand, or a flip flop. Somebody should have took their flip flop off. And then, if that's not enough, he goes and gets some more water to finish the job. And then I want you to look at how he stood there and he started banging it into the flame, into the little the little part there. And then he leaves the jug sitting on top of it. And they said he ran and got on his bike and went home. According to Russian law, children under 14 cannot be held criminally liable. I think they should change the law. Local police said they had already held a preventative conversation with the child and his parents. Look at there. The incident occurred on the 12th of June during Russia Day. Emptied water from the flower vessel into the flame and then rode away. Shortly afterwards, local police were contacted by outraged residents. Ain't that something? A little cute kid. Look at that. It's just adorable. He's standing there praying and everything, but I guess he must have saw that bucket out the corner of his eye. Little Smokey the Bear wannabe. Oh man. So Bessie would like to see that comment again. Let me go back there and find it. There we go. And thank you for the super chat. But yeah, that little kid there, I'm telling you, that little kid, is he too young for reform school? Do they still have the Oddie home? They used to have something in Chicago. It was called the Oddie home. That's where they would send the bad kids. Oh man. Well, let me see. There was a fire and he put it out. I just love it. He didn't understand. All right, he didn't understand. Yeah, the kid thought he was doing something, like maybe somebody left it on or something like that. But, what I love is the fact that he's standing there praying. He stood he stood there and prayed first. Now, was he praying for courage? Was he praying for the heroes? What was he praying for? Was he praying for rain? What's that modern day Dennis the Menace? Sure is. Hey, Mr. Wilson! Mr. Wilson! I put the fire out. Hey, Mr. Wilson! Wasn't that Dennis the Menace neighbor's name? Mr. Wilson, guess what I did today? I put the fire out. Oh, well, you guys, thank you all very much. And I guess I should say thank you to this kid for being so thoughtful. I mean, I guess somebody had to do it, huh? I tell you what, if the Olympics ever go to Moscow, I think they should put that kid's picture up all around the Olympic Village, because if the Olympics ever go to Russia, I'm afraid this kid cannot be trusted. Oh man. I think the part that gets me though is the prayers. He literally prayed first and then he did it. Maybe someone was walking past, right? He saw someone and he thought, you know what? Just pray. And then as soon as he thought it was okay, that was when he started combining them buckets. Oh man. Oh, well, and you know what else? I'm glad he didn't get hurt. I'm so glad he did not get hurt. Um, but he seemed to methodically first he snuffed the fire, right? And then he threw the other container. You see how the container, look at that picture on the right side there. You see how the container is teetering on the edge of that granite uh thing there, monument. And then that's when he takes the second thing of water, right? And he just dumps it on there. And then he pushes the container into the where the flame was. And then he just puts that thing on top like, okay, well, nobody's going to notice the difference. I'll just put this up there. They won't notice. Yeah, anyway, he's cute. He's adorable. uh oh well. I'll see if I can put the video on the community tab if I can find it. Russia Eternal Flame. Uh yep, I don't see it. I don't see it. What I see is just it's not even that one. It's a different one. Oh, I see here. It says Russian Eternal Flame put out. Oh yeah, but it's not the kid. It's like a grown adult. Yeah, they said it's not the first time that's happened. This is not the first time that's happened. Oh man. But the fact that the kid prayed first. Oh, I found it, you guys. I found it. Little asshole. I found it, guys. Oh man. Let me see. How do I share this? You know what? I'll just put the link here and then you all could see him in action. So yes, say goodnight, you guys. I'm gonna put the link here. I am done. So you could just go over there right now and you could watch this little person. You could watch this little juvenile delinquent in action. You know what? I'm trying to see if he's smiling. If I didn't know better, I think I just saw a little smile. Oh my God. This is too funny, though. I'm just like, uh, this is why we cannot have nice things. This is exactly why. Oh man. Connie Bomber. Hey Connie Bomber. Oh yeah, 8 years old. After an incident which an 8-year-old boy poured water on Eternal Flame Memorial. Well, you know what? It could have been worse. What if he had accidentally tried to put that flame out with some of Church Nelly's rheumatism medicine? You know what I'm saying? Now that could have been a disaster. If he would have got a hold of Church Nelly's rheumatism medicine and tried to put that flame out, um, yeah. Oh man. It would have been too bad. It wouldn't have been nothing to show that he was there. They'd be trying to figure out who does those shoes belong to, because that kid would have been on the moon. Well, yeah, this is it. Find the kid that doesn't have eyebrows. That's it. If you can find a kid that has no eyebrows, you can find the culprit. Look for the kid with no eyebrows. All you got to do is go around to the local schools and try to find a kid that looks very surprised. And whatever kid got the most surprised look on his face, that's the culprit. That's it. It's a kid that looked very surprised, because without them eyebrows, you know what I'm saying? They're going to look very surprised. Okay, you guys, love you. I will see you next time.